the best arcade games ever made. I'm lucky OBS crashed on me when it did because it's letting the intro play out. It's stylized in an action movie trailer, and it's based off one of the best animes ever made. Ever watch Steel Skin Panic Madox? Well, it was a great deconstruction of mech animes. It showed what would realistically happen if we made those super badass suits, like Tony Stark's and Iron Man's. You know, we have the power of a tank with the mobility of a plane and the flexibility of the human. It's the Gargoyle Mark II, and it's the best the police force has to offer. But first we're gonna change to the Japanese version since this version is super fucked up. They decided to essentially make it impossible to 1cc outside of Japan by doubling all the damage done to you. There we go. I think my audio should still be good. Game up. Audio good. We're ready. Excellent. So this is a light gun shooter, very similar to many games that came before it. But the difference here being that this is when scaling technology became popular in games. And that allowed Namco to make the craziest joyride through Neo Japan I've ever played in my life. But there's also unique game mechanics here too. As a police member, I have to be careful to actually preserve the civilization as is. See all the elements in the background? Like that jet, the back glass. I got penalized because I just shot that window out. We have to try to keep the airport in pristine condition so that your flights go undelayed as long as possible. Although, I feel bad for that poor potted plant. That's a casualty in the crossfire of war. Press F to pay respects. It adds tons of replay value to the game, on top of your accuracy being important too. Your life? Whoopsies! Thankfully, shooting a civilian does not count as a misfire somehow. We have to try to avoid that later. I'm at a point where, I actually had to memorize where the civilians are and not the enemies, since this game is mostly very well balanced. Aside from the last stage, you can just sight read almost any enemy and react to it if you're good enough, since it's like 2.5 seconds to react to something when it pulls up. The pixel art is downright gorgeous, and the game's biggest surprise is yet to come. Both the Neo Geo and the Namco System 1 here were real beautiful set pieces of arcade hardware. You know, I had that experience when I played Wolfenstein and Doom back in the day, but this is equally as impressive. This may not have real-time 3D movement in it, but because they don't have to calculate your position in real time, they can just go absolutely ballistic with all the effects and sprites on the screen at once. I think the Namco System 1 is even more impressive than the Neo Geo is in that regard. Stage 1 here, we're messing up the cargo hold really bad here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I ruined the oil economy. And now I'm laughing like a bastard over it. You're gonna have to pay higher prices at the pump because of these damn terrorists. Here's the guy in his flame-proof suit here coming out trying to kill me. Even the first boss is really cool. So you may have seen other similar light gun games to this, like Rail Chase. I played those at different marathons before. But this one is really fair because you only get shot on your side of the screen. I'm using the player 2 side because I think it's slightly easier. 69 destroyed props on stage 1. Nice. I got the funny number. Oh, sure, yeah. Now everyone's gonna use electric vehicles. You're right, Andrew. So as I was saying about the way this game was balanced, you're only shot if you get hit on your side of the screen, for the most part. There are some exceptions like the missiles and heavy projectiles. But you'd be surprised what does not kill you in this game. Like the flamethrower right there. That does mean that luck can help you out in this, but it's mostly reactions and memorizations. But yeah, the designs of all the mechs that came from its inspiration are what made this game stand out so good to me. And I love Rail Chase just as much. Hang on, I have to lock in. You don't use a missile here, funny enough. I actually saved those until the boss of this stage. And you might not even have to missile the boss of this if you get lucky anyway, but I use at least one just for assurance here. I gotta remember the third door, yeah, there's hostages in the fourth, or there they are. That's what I mean. You lose a shit ton of health, much more than if you got shot by an enemy if you kill a hostage in this game. So it's more important to memorize that than the enemy locations. Like, I see a lot of people thinking this game is a quarter muncher because they don't realize you don't actually have to shoot these enemies to the left. What I do anyway for extra points, and we're wiping out terrorist scum from the streets. And as Andrew pointed out earlier when I practiced this, where do they get the budget for all this shit? It's just futuristic enough to get you to think about these things. So maybe this is an age where augmentations became really common, like Black Ops 3. I mean, now that we're starting to see this kind of stuff in real life, not to this degree, it would please my inner child to see the future coming real. And then we'll get you, and then I should have mostly full life. Yeah, we're doing good enough by the end of this. You can afford to make a few mistakes here and there, as long as your life doesn't tip past the 0 in the missile counter. Sometimes this guy's a jerk, and he shoots defense pods at you. If he does, I just missile. If he only throws regular dudes or bombs at me, then that's good RNG. Like right there, for instance. Missile. Missile again. That's enough. That's typically enough damage to finish the job. I would have liked it if I only had to use one missile there, but as long as you balance everything out correctly, you're good for the most part. That just means that I can't fuck up on the last stage at all. What is the terrorist plot? Good, I'm over 40% accuracy. And the miss shot mechanic plays into accuracy being really important as well, since you need at least 40% to get your full life and missile recovery back. Which 40% means that you get 4 missiles back. It matters a lot on the last stage while still having a good amount of leeway on that. So I do, in fact, recommend Steel Gunner for 1cc play. Don't believe the 80s OVA future is here until you start hearing headline news about the top stories of office buildings blowing up. It was such a good comedy, while also getting you to think at the same time. Some of the best comedies I've ever watched, like Blazing Saddles, have the exact same effect, despite being in a different setting. And this is the sprite scaling being used so masterfully. Those hangars, or those, those hangars look like they're actually stretching due to the way they stretch it out only in one direction. That is such a good illusion of 3D that you'd believe it was real if you were in the 1990s. This is why I used the player 2 side and learned Cliff instead of player 1, by the way. The battleship here tends to shoot player 1 immediately, since the guns come to the left. So I feel like this is the slightly easier way to clear this game. Of course, the game is still perfectly 1cc-able as Garcia. You just have to memorize different dudes to shoot. Like right there, for instance. Like the dudes on the left, you wouldn't have to shoot them if you were Garcia. So there's extra replay value there, learning both characters. The game also doesn't scale in co-op play either, so this, and especially the sequel, are excellent co-op games to play. Like, even more than House of the Dead, if you ask me, since that one actually scales. Are they? There they are! What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the anime that this was based on, since it's just the coolest thing ever. They hunt the dude down. He reads the instruction manual, but doesn't read it thoroughly enough in order to find the eject button. And almost half the city ends up getting destroyed by the end anyway. So that is a good question of just because we can manufacture something, should we do it at all? That wasn't the whole point of this. The whole point of this was to have a joyride, where you just get to blast everything in sight, cheerfully and jovially. But the fact that it makes you think as well is just extra fuel to the fire. I find that brings out the best in a lot of games. Especially Metal Gear Solid 2. Alright, now, the climax. See, I have half my... That's good enough to clear the game. And I got my 40%. We're on track here. Feel like the boss would be... Peak taste in games, dude. Peak taste 232. I still have to play through Vanquish myself. In fact, games like this could have inspired the likes of Vanquish. They definitely inspired Hideki Kamiya with Devil May Cry and Capcom. And now all hell breaks loose. This finale, I still don't know how they did it without a single frame drop. But I gotta be careful here. You get the civilians here, you have to be careful of them. I fuck up if I kill a single one. I fucked up! That wasn't good. I'm locking in. This last level takes a bit of memorization, as I said earlier. I think I figured this game out after about a week and a half of practice. So I wouldn't recommend it as your first light gun 1cc, but as a fifth or fourth one, it would be pretty good. My accuracy doesn't matter anymore either, and that's mostly to my benefit. I don't have to get 40% anymore because now no more bonus missiles. I can just go crazy. The city is fucked anyway. Concentrate on my side. There we go. The next set of missiles I use on the last hallway or when I get overwhelmed, if I miss a couple of shots. You know, like when shit tons of dudes show up on the third shooting gallery here. Okay, yeah. My life is looking a little low. Ooh, he almost... Okay. We might barely be in this after all. Please help yourself to the new PlayStation 9 from the electronics store in Akiribara. And get yourself a neon t-shirt from the clothing store today. Okay, shit tons of dudes. Okay, I only took one shot of damage there. Okay, we're making up for our mistake. Here's the last hallway. We have to missile here. They just throw ass tons of terrorists at you. I think by this point we've wiped the entire force out since Strum doesn't come back. I don't have enough life to finish the game, but I'm gonna pray anyway. If you see warning at the end, it's over. On this part right here, your health just drains, even if it's not shooting at you. You just need enough health and enough missiles to finish. It was a damn good attempt, though. This is a 2cc. I still think this is a respectable clear of the game. It was only one missile away from death. Yeah, there you go. I just had the health shortage. And there's Dr. Ryan. Oh, it's the terrorist leader. Oh, it's Butthead, or it's Beavis. Beavis thought all this was way cool. Beavis is a Terminator. Let's get him. No more nachos for you, butt wipe. You actually can game over here as long as your cursor stays on him at all times. This is just for dramatic effect. And that was Steel Gunner. Japan has been saved, and the super weapon was stopped, but at what cost? The city's gone, but I'm glad you're all still alive at the end of the day. And that's what we're really protecting here. And thank you all for being here as well. Like I said, it was a real honor to show this game off after a lot of practice on it. Thank you, Iwasaki. Nakamura also worked on Gapless and other great classics as well. Just defining the genres left or right. Oh, and Dead in the Brain is also one of the sickest adventure games I've ever seen in my life. You're all demonstrating exquisite taste here, and that's why I love you all. Agriato for Steel Gunner playing. So, let me just rub my initials out. And then we're gonna hand things over to the next runner. I got on the best list and the worst at the same time. Only in Steel Gunner is such a thing possible. A separate high score scheme for destroying everything. You gotta love it. Anyway, I hope to see you all tomorrow, and good luck with the rest of your runs, everyone.